One might think that institutions around the world know how to properly split a stock, credit a dividend, or handle a mix of this like a dividend in the form of a stock split, where existing shares aren't simply multiplied, but where each shareholder receives additional shares on a specific date from a pool of newly issued shares. Sadly, that's not always the case. My name is Rauchenwald, and in today's video we are going to look at GameStop's recent stock split dividend, the confusion it caused among investors around the world, and what you should probably do if you hold GameStop shares at the moment. But before we get to that, as always, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way first. Everything I share in this video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions and make your own decisions. As you may know, GameStop recently filed their Form 8K with the SEC that stated the following. On July 6, GameStop Corp., the company, issued a press release announcing that its board of directors had approved and declared a 4-for-1 stock split in the form of a stock dividend. Each company's stockholder of record at the close of business on July 18, 2022 will receive 3 additional shares of the company's Class A common stock for each then held share of Class A common stock to be distributed after the close of trading on July 21, 2022. Following those instructions, as you can see here in a screenshot taken from the public FAQ of GameStop's official transfer agent Computershare, directly registered shareholders received 3 new shares for every share they held at Computershare. On a side note, if you are wondering what a transfer agent is and what direct registration means, I recommend that you click on the card up here and first watch my video about that topic before you continue with this one here. So to sum things up so far, GameStop made a clear announcement and filing with the SEC that explicitly explains that after the close on the 21st of July, stockholders on record by the time markets closed on the 18th of July are to receive 3 new shares for every share they have. And according to those instructions, Computershare issued new shares to all shareholders that had their shares directly registered. Now, to illustrate the following part better, we can again use an image from drsgme.org, a website providing detailed instructions on how to directly register your shares. And that illustration shows the registered ownership shares in purple at the bottom left of the image and all the other so-called beneficially owned shares in orange right next to it. So after Computershare distributed the new shares to all shareholders that held their GameStop shares at Computershare at the time of the split dividend, they still had shares left for all the shareholders that didn't directly register their shares, and those shares were then forwarded to the DTC, DTCC or CD & Co for further distribution. Now, for the purpose of this video, it doesn't really matter which of those 3 actually received the shares. The important point is that whichever institution got them was then also responsible to inform the brokers and banks of GameStop shareholders around the world about the number of newly issued shares and add them to their accounts. In a perfect world, the brokers and banks would then add 3 additional shares to every eligible shareholder's account in the form of a stock split dividend, as instructed by GameStop in the press release and their filing with the SEC. All of this sounds quite straightforward, and one has to wonder how anyone can screw something like this up, but here we are. Only days after the issuance of the stock split dividend, there are countless posts on the internet of shareholders showing that their brokers did not credit them with 3 additional shares, but simply split their existing shares in 4 parts, like it would happen in a regular forward stock split. Here are some examples of statements made by brokers around the world to their customers shared by users on Reddit. Links to the posts themselves can be found in the video description down below if you'd like to double check them or get involved in the discussions there. Now, for legal reasons, I'd also like to point out here that while in my opinion unlikely, it's in theory possible that all or some of the screenshots I'm going to show you now have been fabricated, but I leave it up to you to decide if what I'm going to show you seems legit or not. And as said, you can always follow the links in the video description to check each specific post for more details. Starting with this reply from ING, a German broker, their supplier repeatedly told them that it is a regular stock split, And while the message doesn't explicitly state that, this means no new shares have been issued and the existing number of shares just got divided by 4. According to this reply from Simple in Canada, they also just split users' existing shares and did not issue new shares. Looking at another German broker, according to this response from 1822 Direct, their customers received new shares after they confirmed that those new shares were credited at their provider Clearstream, but decided to still label the event as a regular stock split because according to them, labeling it as a dividend would cause capital gain taxes on the newly issued shares. And according to this reply from a representative at Schwab, they classified the event as a stock split, but also state that this might change later and claim that it would be up to GameStop to decide about that later in the year, which in my opinion doesn't make much sense because GameStop has been very clear about how to handle it in their filing with the SEC. Trade Republic, on the other hand, another German broker, confirms in their response to their customer that users received 3 additional shares for every share they held and that they followed GameStop's instructions by issuing the new shares as a dividend. Another response in Germany from Scalable Broker states as well that their clients received 3 additional shares per share held in the form of a stock dividend. And while there are many more examples online that show just how many brokers clearly ignored the instructions provided by GameStop, I would like to show just one more example in this video. This screenshot shows the response from TD Ameritrade claiming that the event was a regular forward stock split, that GameStop's instructions were to handle it as such, and that if the user has an issue with that, they should bother GameStop's investors relations team. Now, looking at all of that, some of you might still say, so what? As long as the number of shares in my account is in the end 4 times higher than it was before the split, that seems alright with me. Well, it's not that simple, and to illustrate the issue at hand better, let me take this piece of paper and let's say this is 1 share of Corporation A and it's also the only share in existence, so I hold the entire supply with this 1 share. Now, Corporation A decided to issue 3 new shares and give them to me in the form of a stock dividend. So instead of having 1 piece of paper, I should now actually, numbers on the other side, I should now actually hold 4 identical pieces of paper. And since the original supply of the stock was 1 share total, the new supply should now be 4 shares total. However, if my broker for whatever reason doesn't give me my 3 new shares, so the 3 pieces of paper, but instead just cuts my existing share in 4 equal pieces and insists that this is correct, I now hold 4 shares, but there should still be the 3 pieces of paper, so the 3 actually issued shares I was supposed to get, somewhere else floating around, and we suddenly would be looking at a total supply of 7 shares. So you can clearly see that it does make a difference and the potential implications are much bigger, because we would have to ask ourselves what happened to these shares that I was supposed to get but didn't get in the first place. Now, I could speculate and share why I think all of this happened and what it means, but since it's hard to provide proof for my opinion, I'm not going to share it here. I will, however, say the following. If all of this seems weird to you and you are worried that you did not receive the newly issued GameStop shares that you were supposed to get, then take a look at my recent video about direct registration again, which you can find by clicking on the card up here, or simply visit drsgme.org and read about it there, and go ahead and directly register your shares as soon as possible. Because directly registering your shares is the only way you can be 100% sure that the shares you bought are actually registered in your name, so they are actually yours, with the added benefit that they cannot be borrowed by short sellers anymore to bet against your investment as well. But that's it for today. Let me know in the comments down below or in the comments on any of my recent posts on eToro what you personally think of this entire split fiasco. Thanks for watching. See you in one of my other videos. Till then, bye bye.